sign these ropes. Come on, quickly as you can.
What do you think, Mary? Perfect.
Daisy, get downstairs with those now.
Christmas. And to you.
And this is for you.
The usual cloth for a frock, I'm afraid. But I hope you like the other thing.
I'm sure I will, milady. Thank you.
We all prayed for him in church this morning.
Happy Christmas, Hannah.
Happy Christmas.
I can't wait for you to open this.
Thank you, Your Ladyship.
Happy Christmas, Mrs.
What did her ladyship say?
Ryan?
She was just being kind.
Happy Christmas and
I wish I could tell you not to worry.
My husband's on trial for his life, Mrs. Hughes. Of course I worry.
Well, I'm old-fashioned enough to believe that they can't prove him guilty when he's not.
This is for you.
Thank you,
The royal families of Europe. Oh, my. I shall find this very interesting, my lord.
Good.
I don't want to spoil their fun, but I couldn't wear a paper hat. Not with poor Mr. Bates locked away.
His lordship said much the same.
Is Mr. Bates the one Lady Rosamond told me about? The murderer?
Mr. Bates has most unjustly been accused of murder. That is all.
All? I should think that's quite enough for most people.
Thank you.
You like tea?
Why do we have to help ourselves at luncheon?
It's a Downton tradition. They have their feast at lunchtime and we have ours in the evening.
But why can't they have their lunch early and then serve us, like they normally do?
Because it's Christmas Day.
It's not how we'll do it at Haxby.
Which I can easily believe. Oh, this is nice. What is it?
What does it look like?
Something for getting stones out of horses' hooves?
It's a nutcracker. We thought you'd like it.
Good.
To crack your nuts.
Who's coming on New Year's Day?
The usual guns, us three, and some locals. You'll know all of them.
Have you asked Anthony Strallen?
I tried. In fact, I gave him 3 days, but he said no to all of them. Perhaps he's given it up.
But he was so keen before the war.
Perhaps he's had enough banging for one life.
Oh, and Rosamond's forced me to invite Lord Hepworth.
Really?
Well, I told him I was coming down here, and he dropped hint after hint.
Perhaps he has nowhere to go. It can be a lonely time of year.
Jinx Hepworth lonely. I find that hard to believe. Hepworth men don't go in for loneliness much.
How do you know him?
I knew his father in the late 60s. Mais où sont les neiges d'antan?
Isabel told me you were telephoning for news of Mr. Swire. How is he?
Not good. I'm catching the train first thing in the morning. I hope I'm in time.
Is it as bad as that? I'm so sorry. Matthew's going to London tomorrow. Lavinia's father is ill.
Better warn Robert if you'll miss the shoot.
I'll be back by New Year's Day. He won't last that long, I'm afraid. Forgive me if I'm casting a gloom.
Don't be silly. We're all under the shadow of Bates's trial.
Will any of you have to testify?
Only Papa and some of the servants. But I'm going to support Anna.
Would you like me to come with you to explain what's happening? Or will you do that?
Richard wants to go back to work the day after the shoot. Don't you?
Yes, I do.
Now, Thomas.
What's this?
It's a board for planchette.
What's that?
A game. Well, not quite a game, more a method of communication.
How?
Never mind. I'll take it if you like.
Sybil's favourite.
Ooh. A happy Christmas to us all.
Happy Christmas.
Don't forget to make a wish.
Let's all make a wish.
A wish and a prayer.
Is this about Bates again?
My new maid says the servants' hall is full of it. How terrible it is.
We mustn't lose faith. He's been wrongly accused.
I'm sure you hope so.
We know so.
How has Mr. Murray managed to have the trial held in York?
I don't know, but thank God he has.
And he's confident?
He seems to be.
Yeah, lawyers are always confident before the verdict. It's only afterwards they share their doubts.
Is anyone there? Is anyone there?
You must take it seriously, otherwise they'll be offended.
What is it?
We're talking to the dead.
But how? They can't talk back.
They can. That's the whole point.
Come on, Daisy.
No, I don't think it's right.
If you'll all be quiet, I'll try again. Is there anyone there?
Yes, someone is there.
What is going on?
We're just playing a game.
A very unsuitable game, Miss O'Brien, especially on Christmas night. Please put it away at once. I'm surprised at you, Daisy.
Are you sure there's nothing in it?
Quite sure, thank you.
Don't you believe in spirits, then?
Well, I don't believe they play board games.
You're reading.
For heaven's sakes, yes, I'm reading because it's a book title.
No talking.
I know, but honestly.
5 words.
Fourth word.
Word.
2 syllables.
First syllable.
Drum.
They'll never get it.
Wait.
They'll never get it.
Fist. Shake. Mad.
Do you always play charades on Christmas night?
This isn't charades, this is the game.
No helping.
Trip. Trip. Oh, jolly.
Do you enjoy these games? In which the player must appear ridiculous?
Sir Richard, life is a game in which the player must appear ridiculous.
Not my life.
Fall, past. Fell. Wild fell. What? Lieutenant of Wild fell Hall.
Isis. Very clever.
Richard, your turn. Come on.
How soon your maxim will be tested.
Richard.
If Mr. Bates should not come back...
I am not replacing Bates. What were you going to say?
Only that I know that Thomas is keen to be promoted.
The trouble is, being dressed and undressed is an intimate business. We've forgiven Thomas his early sins, I know, but I cannot imagine I would ever quite feel the trust.
Don't say no more, my lord. I'm sure Mr. Bates will be home soon, which will settle the matter.
We're running out of time now. I need to
Did you make all that?
Yes, why?
And you're still only the kitchen maid?
I don't know what I am.
You could be a sous chef, at least in London.
I don't know what a sous chef is.
Or a cook. Maybe not in a house like this, but you wouldn't have to go far down the ladder before they'd snap you up.
Daisy, find Thomas and tell him the tea's ready to go up. Then we shall get started on the mixture for the cheese soufflés.
Does Daisy cook the soufflés too? What's it to you?
invited Anthony Strallen. I thought it was just us.
Oh, very important. Never used to use the chauffeur. Well, you were so disappointed that he wouldn't come shooting.
Good afternoon, Lady Grantham. Lady Edith. What a charming surprise. It's been far too long.
It's so nice to see you. It's such a relief to see any of our friends who've made it through unscathed.
I'm afraid I haven't, quite. I took a bullet in the wrong place. Seems to have knocked out my right arm.
But not forever, surely.
Well, the upshot is, I'm afraid, that the wretched thing is now no use to man or beast.
Well, now we know why you didn't want to come shooting.
Indeed. So how is everyone? Lady Sybil is married, I hear? Living in Ireland? How was the wedding?
Quiet. It was in Dublin. They didn't want a big affair.
Did you all get over?
Mary and I did. Papa,
No,
Mama,
we
and
were
Granny.
all ill. Isn't it sad?
And what's he like?
He's political.
As long as he's on the right side? So, does he shoot?
I'm sure he does.
But I don't think pheasants.
Mr. Murray thinks a reference from an earl will go in my favour. I'm not sure such things matter when it comes to murder.
I think it'll help.
Because you want to think so. Anna, you must prepare for the worst. I'm not saying it'll happen, but you must prepare for it.
I know it could happen. I do. But the time to face it is after it has happened, and not before. Grant me that.
Lady Grantham, Lady Rosamond.
Hello, Lord Hepworth. Welcome.
Thank you.
Will your man be coming up from the station, my lord?
I haven't got one with me. Is that a nuisance? I'm so sorry.
Not at all, my lord. Thomas will take care of you while you're here.
Splendid.
Do come in.
Thank you.
This came for you in the Evening Post. It's from Sybil.
You must go up and change.
So, what do you make of Rosamond's pal?
He seems agreeable enough.
I suspect he's in the profession of making himself agreeable.
O'Brien says Rosamond's maid speaks very highly of him, and that seems a good reference to me.
What is it?
Sybil's pregnant.
I see. So that's it, then. No return. She's crossed the Rubicon.
She crossed it when she married him, Robert. She says we're not to tell anyone, not even the girls.
I wondered why she didn't ask to come for Christmas.
Would you have allowed it?
Well, well. So, we're to have a Fenian grandchild.
Cheer up. Come the revolution, it may be useful to have a contact on the other side.
Oh, I say. This is very cosy, isn't it?
What is?
To find ourselves next door.
I'm not certain it's quite proper to remark on such things. You remember my maid, sure?
Certainly I do. I hope they've got a jolly party planned downstairs.
Why would they?
Because it's New Year's Eve, of course.
Oh, that. I doubt it, my lord. But I don't mind. I make my own fun. If that's everything, my lady, I'll go down now and see you after midnight.
Thank you.
And you wish I could say the same? Only joking.
I wonder if she'll remember me.
Oh, she will.
Good evening, Lady Grantham. I don't suppose you remember me?
Of course I do. Oh, how is dear Hatton? I have such happy memories of it from the old days.
Well, I'm not often there, not since my mother died.
And perhaps it needs a woman's touch.
Well, don't we all?
Oh, how very like your father you are. It's almost as if he was standing here before me. I hope you'll come to tea, and then we can talk about him.
I should love it, Lady Grantham, if they'll release me.
They'll release you.
What are those for?
We always have a glass of wine at midnight on New Year's Eve.
Very civilised. In my last place, we were expected to be upstairs and serving New Year's Eve or not.
We're not a ladies' maid, then?
How long have you been with Lady Rosamond, Miss Shaw?
2 months.
Oh, I see. You're quite a new girl.
I can read Mr. Carson's hint. Marjorie doesn't trust me.
Because of the stealing, you mean?
So what should I do?
Get him to trust you.
That's easy to say, but how?
Make him grateful. Do him a good turn. Hide something he loves and find it and give it back.
Sir Brian?
Thank you, Mrs.
Not long now. Does everyone have a glass?
Anthony Stradden was at Granny's for tea the other day, so I know why he wouldn't shoot. He's hurt his arm.
Shame. Well, we shall try again next year.
Oh, I am sorry I started that. Now, don't encourage it. She'd spent her life as a nursemaid.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Once again, the servants are downstairs and we're on our own.
In the whole year, we fend for ourselves at Christmas lunch and on New Year's Eve. It doesn't seem much to me.
You haven't had to fight for what you've got.
Oh, do try to get past that. It makes you sound so angry all the time.
Yes.
I hope London wasn't too grim.
Well, I got down there in time, which is the main thing. And I was with him when he died, so he wasn't alone.
I'm so sorry and so glad.
Must be getting near.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Mama.
Happy New Year, Mama.
1920. Is it to be believed? I feel as old as Methuselah.
But so much prettier.
When I think what the last 10 years has brought, God knows what we're in for now.
He's pushing his luck.
How?
He wants me to speak up for him to Lady Rosamond.
If I were you, I'd keep out of it.
We'll walk to the first drive, then use the wagonette after that.
Splendid. I hope you're going to stand by me.
I thought I'd chum my brother.
Thank you.
Cora isn't coming out until luncheon.
Well, the second drive, then. You ladies will have to distribute your charms fairly, as there are only 3 of you. Do you agree, Lady Mary?
Lady Mary will stand by me.
Now, just...
I thought you were going to stand with me for the first drive. Isn't that what you said?
Did I? Yes, I think I did.
And one for you. Splendid.
Why didn't you have a loader? Barnard would have found you one.
I'm not very good at it. This or double guns, and I don't want a witness.
I'm a witness.
Then please don't spread the word of my incompetence.
I never know which is worse, the sorrow when you hit the bird or the shame when you miss it. Thank you for intervening back there, before I said something rude.
He does rather beg to be teased.
The awful truth is he's starting to get on my nerves. Still, you're not the person to burden with that.
You're still going to marry him, though?
Of course. Why wouldn't I?
Oh, I think I might have got that one. You must promise faithfully to lie when they ask you how I did.
Daisy, you've got a visitor.
I was visiting the grave. I thought to myself, why not go and see her now? Take William's blessing with me.
Why not go and sit for a moment in the servants' hall? We're sending out the shooting lunch. As soon as we're finished, Daisy can bring you a cup of tea. I'm sure Mrs. Hughes won't mind, will you, Mrs. Hughes?
Indeed, I will not. This way.
Well, he's here now, so I think I should make things clear.
Don't, Daisy, please. William wouldn't thank you for it.
He won't thank me for bamboozling his old dad, neither. Now, I know you're going to say no, but I was just passing and I suddenly thought, why don't we go for a drive? Like we used to.
I don't think I should. I really can't spare the time. Would you like a cup of something?
All right. Yes, thank you. That would be nice.
Is everyone well?
Quite well.
Lady Edith will be joining me for tea.
Certainly, sir.
As a matter of fact, I'm glad to have got you to myself for a moment.
Oh?
I feel it gives me the chance to make some things clear. I'm not sure I was that clear when we met the other day. It's been worrying me.
I don't understand.
You see, I couldn't bear for you to think that we might take up together again, when of course we can't.
Because of what Mary said that time. Because, you know, it wasn't true. She only said it to spite me.
No, it's not because of that. And if you say it wasn't true, I'm sure it wasn't. You see, the thing is, I'm far too old for you.
I don't agree.
Of course I am. And now, well, I'm a cripple. I don't need a wife, I need a nurse. And I couldn't do that to someone as young and as lovely as you.
I don't accept a single word of that speech.
Lady Edith.
If you think I'm going to give up on someone who calls me lovely...
I'm afraid you must.
Oh, lovely. I'd like you to know the place he grew up. He always wanted to work with animals. Horses, really. But his mother saw him as a butler, lording it over a great house.
He loved you both so much.
I'm only grateful his mother went first. She couldn't have borne it.
No, but she would have had to face it, wouldn't she, like you? We all have to face the truth, don't we?
We do, lass. Hard as it may be.
Because I want to tell you the truth. You see, William and me were friends for a long time before he started to feel something more.
Well, that's always the best way, isn't it? To know that there's friendship as well as passion.
Yes, but you see, I didn't feel the love so soon. So I'm afraid I wasted some of the time we could have spent together.
No, you didn't, Daisy. You gave him the thrill of the chase. He talked of nothing but you from dawn till the cows came home. And when he saw you felt the same, well, the pleasure was all the sweeter for the waiting, I promise you.
Good.
So when are you going to come to the farm?
I'll let you know. Shall I get you some more hot water? More lies.
Were they?
Well, that's the horn. Where's the damn loader?
Looking for your damn peg, I imagine.
Why were you laughing with Matthew at the end of the first drive?
I suppose he said something funny.
Am I never to be free of him?
Of course not. You know how families like ours work. And he'll be head of it one day.
I might understand if you'd let me think for a solitary minute that you preferred my company to his. I have tried, Mary.
Give me that. I've done everything I can to please you.
You mean you bought a large and rather vulgar house?
Talk to me like that. What have I done to deserve it? What?
Is something the matter?
Richard's loader seems to have got lost, and this is one of the best drives. He's missing all the fun.
I see.
Where the bloody hell have you been?
Sorry, sir.
I'm afraid Sir Richard's rather anxious to begin.
I'd better get back to my post.
There you are, sir.
Robert, Matthew is going to York for Bates's trial. And, well, I wondered if I might come as well.
Of course, if you want to.
Cora's told me she's not going. And I feel I just might be useful as part of the bucking up brigade.
That's kind. Thank you.
It's odd, isn't it? Us just chatting away here, while that poor man waits to hear his fate.
Please don't make me feel any worse than I do already.
Have we time to serve the coffee or not?
I'm not sure, Mr. Carson. We could have used one of the maids today.
Maids at a shooting lunch? Hardly.
Anna's very grateful you're coming with us.
Well, I have to go to London, but I'll be back.
What are you going for?
Reggie Swire's funeral. He wanted his ashes to be buried in Lavinia's grave. I'll bring them back.
What does Mr. Travis say?
I haven't asked him. I thought I'd do it myself one day.
Well, let me know when. I'd like to be there, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
This is very nice of you to spare some time for a poor old woman. Won't they miss you at the tea?
I'll regain some novelty value at dinner.
Very well. Well, what should we talk about? Hatton? Shall we discuss why you never go there now? Or Loch Earl? Or what about Hepworth House in Grosvenor Square? I spent so many happy evenings there with your father in hot pursuit.
I see it's time for some honesty.
A change is as good as a rest.
I think you know that Hatton's gone. So has Loch Earl. And Hepworth House has so many mortgages. I could only sell it at a loss.
So my spies tell me, so you want Rosamond, or rather the fortune of the late Mr. Painswick, to come to the rescue.
My feelings for Lady Rosamond are sincere. I admire her immensely.
I do not doubt it. My only fear is that you admire her money more.
Lady Rosamond is too young to be alone. And you'll concede that there are many varieties of happy marriage.
Maybe, but they are all based on honesty. I insist you tell the truth about your circumstances to Rosamond. After that, it's up to her.
Well, yes, of course.
Yes, carry on the conversation haven't come through. Have you thought of a date?
When the men go through, can I steal you for a moment?
Why particularly?
There's something I should tell you.
Something nice, I hope.
Not very nice, no, but you can make the nastiness go away.
Curiouser and curiouser, Sir Davis.
Get married in the spring or the summer.
I'm only asking to set a date.
But what's the hurry?
Hurry. Glaciers are fast compared to you on this, Mary. I warn you. Even my patience has its limits.
Mary, can I help?
After today, I won't insult you by asking what you mean.
You don't have to marry him, you know. You don't have to marry anyone. You'll always have a home here as long as I'm alive.
Didn't the war teach you never to make promises? And anyway, you're wrong. I do have to marry him.
But why? Not to prove you've broken with me, surely. We know where we stand. We've no need for gestures.
If I told you the reason, you would despise me, and that I really couldn't bear.
Mary? Rosamond wants to play bridge until the men come through.
Of course.
T O O F A T. You said you're too fat.
My heart, she never said that. You're pushing the thing. Come away, Daisy. We've got work to do.
I hope it's rewarding work, Mrs. Patmore. Something to challenge our Daisy.
Leave it alone.
What did she mean? Not be sure.
Nothing.
Who was telephoning so late?
Murray. He apologised. He's going to come here the day before the trial to talk it all through with Mrs. Hughes, O'Brien and me.
Boy, if they've been chosen and not the others, what do they know?
Search me. I've told Carson.
Will Mr. Murray be staying?
No, he wants to get to York. We'll meet him there the following day.
Oh, my dear. I hope you can be strong if it goes against him.
It won't. There was an awkward moment tonight between Mary and Carlyle at the end of dinner. Did you notice it?
I'm sure Mary has him under control.
Does she? I look at her and all I can see is a tired woman with a tiresome husband, not a bride on the brink of heaven. Wish I could understand why she goes on with it. Do you think there's some element I might have overlooked?
Yes.
Cora, if there is something and you know what it is, tell me, please.
Perhaps it's time.
I was hoping you'd say I was wrong.
You're not wrong. But if I do tell you, swear not to fly off the handle. And try not to be too hurt.
Now you must tell me, because nothing could be worse than my imaginings.
Very well. Do you recall a Turkish diplomat who stayed here before the war?
I think I can be relied on to remember any guest who is found dead in his bed next morning.
Well, that's the thing.
I wanted to explain how it will work. You'll both have received official notification through the post.
But why have I been called? What's it to me? I know nothing.
Since you're summoned as witness for the prosecution, the police would obviously disagree.
But I'm there for the prosecution too, when I have no doubt of Mr. Bates's innocence. How can that be?
It'll be made clear on the day.
Where does Anna stand in all this?
A wife cannot be compelled to testify against her husband.
Well, that's a mercy anyway.
As far as I could make out, he was talking to his lawyer. He seemed to be blaming his wife for cancelling the divorce.
You heard this yourself?
I wasn't eavesdropping. He was speaking loudly. But I don't think you can blame him.
Just to answer the questions, please, Miss O'Brien. When John Bates returned from London on his final visit to Mrs. Bates, did you notice anything about his appearance?
He had a scratch on his cheek. But he might have got that.
And I believe the maid, Anna Smith, asked him how the meeting had gone.
Well, she and he were.
And how did he answer her?
He said it had been worse than she could possibly imagine.
And what did he call her?
I shouldn't have been listening in the first place. I had no right to be there.
But you were listening, Mrs. Hughes. So please tell us what he called her when he grew angry.
He said she was a bitch.
Did it sound as if he threatened to strike her?
But what people say in an argument...
Did he threaten to strike her?
I'm afraid he did, yes.
Every case looks as black as night by the time the prosecution is finished. We've heard nothing in Bates' defense yet.
I can't believe Mrs. Hughes would say those things. Miss O'Brien, maybe, but not Mrs. Hughes.
It's difficult to lie on oath. Few of us can manage it.
She looked as if she were in hell.
It does sound worse than I expected.
It's a great pity he didn't speak up about buying the poison.
I told him to. I begged him to.
He should have listened.
Then it's down to me to convince them that this crime is simply not in Bates's character.
So you have no doubt at all?
None whatsoever. We served in the African War, and I owe my life to John Bates, who acted to protect me without any care for his own safety. Is this a man who could plot to kill his wife? Absolutely not.
Lord Grantham, did John Bates ever speak to you about his wife?
Not that I recall.
Never? He never once spoke one word of this wife who had prevented all his dreams from coming true?
Well, you know, one talks about this and that.
Did he give you the impression he was losing patience with Mrs. Bates around the time she had prevented the divorce? Were you aware that he was angry at what had happened?
I suppose so.
Did he ask permission to travel to London to see her that last time?
I believe he did.
And did you recommend restraint in his dealings with his wife?
I don't think so.
You're absolutely sure?
Well, perhaps I may have done.
You did, Lord Grantham. Mr. Bates has, in his interviews, stated that you prescribed discretion. His case is that he followed your advice. But I wonder why the defense has chosen not to refer to this.
I can't tell you.
No. And was there one statement of his that prompted you to advise him to moderate his behavior?
I can't remember. Not precisely.
Give us an approximate.
I must urge that the witness gives an answer.
I said I hoped his trip to London was to do with some property he owned and not to do with the former Mrs. Bates.
And how did he answer?
He said,
Lord Grantham.
He said if only she was the former, or better still, the late.
I don't know what to say, ma'am. They twist your words.
You had to answer their questions.
Wish to God I'd never listened.
Well,
I suppose Anna is very bitter. I wonder if you would tell her.
I know that you're both praying for her, as I am.
Mrs. Crawley, the jury's returned.
Ah.
Are you all agreed?
We are, my lord.
The prisoner will stand.
Do you find the prisoner to be guilty or not guilty as charged?
Guilty, my lord.
John Bates, you have been found guilty of the charge of willful murder. You will be taken from here to a place of execution, where you will be hanged by the neck until you are dead. And may God have mercy upon your soul.
No, this is wrong. This is terribly, terribly wrong.
Take him down.
Did you know this Bates well?
No, not really. Oh, I saw him once. It's when I went to talk to Matthew in his bedroom just before dinner.
That sounds rather risque.
Oh, alas, I am beyond impropriety.
There'll be a stink in the papers.
Well, to be honest, I'm surprised there hasn't been one already. Perhaps Richard had a hand in it. And while we're on the subject of unsuitable spouses...
Lord Hepworth is not unsuitable, Mamma. You are unjust.
He's hardly the consummation devoutly to be wished. Did he tell you what I asked him to tell you?
I know he has no fortune, if that's what you mean.
No fortune? He's lucky not to be playing the violin in Leicester Square.
He's fond of me, Mamma. I'm tired of being alone. And I have money.
He's a fortune hunter, my dear. A pleasant one, I admit, but a fortune hunter. Still, it's your decision. So, have you made it?
Not quite. I'm going to ask Robert to get him back for the servants' ball.
Oh, will that happen after today?
Well, he can come and stay, whether or not we feel like dancing.
Thank you. We don't need anything.
Do sit down, Anna.
You mustn't think that this is the end.
For the judge to pronounce the death sentence is a matter of routine.
Routine?
He means the judge had no choice. If a man is found guilty of murder, he must be sentenced to death. But there are many reasons for it to be commuted. Many reasons.
Is being innocent one of them?
We have to work to change the sentence to life imprisonment.
Life imprisonment?
Because it won't demand a retrial or an overthrow of the Crown's case. Once we have that, we can begin to build a challenge to the verdict.
Do you understand?
Yes, my lady, I do.
I still can't believe it.
Well, I'm afraid you must.
We'll need you to write a letter to the Home Secretary, Mr. Short.
I'll leave for London at once and put it into his hand myself.
He's a Liberal, isn't he? Pity.
He's a decent man.
The flaw in their case is the question of premeditation. Even if Mr. Bates had run into the cellar for the poison and pushed it into her food, we can argue strongly he didn't plan it.
He didn't plan it because he didn't do it.
And we'll stress the circumstantial nature of the evidence. There may still be elements that come to light.
What chance do you think we have?
It's not a good chance, Mrs. Bates. But there's still a chance.
When will they be back?
I'm not sure. They took Anna to an inn to help her catch her breath.
How will we ever face her?
With kindness, I hope.
When will he be hanged?
Her ladyship wondered if you could give her an account of the day.
Of course. I'd like to say I may have been called for the prosecution, but I do not believe in Mr. Bates's guilt.
What about you, Miss O'Brien? You're very quiet. I'm sorry to have been part of it.
There'll have to be a new valet now, won't there?
I don't often feel selfless, but when I listen to you, I do.
His lordship will be so upset.
We're all upset downstairs, my lady.
Of course you are. His lordship and Lady Mary won't want to change, so we won't either. Please ask Mrs. Patmore to serve dinner 20 minutes after they arrive.
Very good, my lady.
Oh, Mrs. Hughes, this is a time of grief for us. Of grief and heartbreak.
I suppose it's down to me again. What is? To produce dinner 20 minutes after they arrive when we don't know if it's in 2 or 10 hours' time.
What's got into you all of a sudden?
Nothing. I mean, I know I'm a dog's body, but...
How can you choose today of all days to complain about your lot? I expect Mr. Bates would rather be wondering how to keep a roast chicken warm than sitting in a lonely cell facing his maker.
You've been hiding from us.
I couldn't do any more chatter. Are the Crawleys still here?
They went ages ago. Mama and Edith have gone up. I'm so dreadfully, dreadfully sorry about today.
I know you are. How's Anna?
I sent her to bed.
Can I ask you something?
Of course.
Do you stay with Carlyle because he's threatened to expose the story of Mr. Pamuk dying in your bed?
When did you find out?
Your mother told me when I asked why you were still with Carlyle, when you're so tired of him.
How very disappointed you must be.
Your mama chose her moment well. And you're not the first Crawley to make a mistake.
To answer your question, it is partly true, though not entirely. In Mama's phrase, I am damaged goods now. Richard is, after all, prepared to marry me in spite of it, to give me a position, to give me a life.
And that's worth it? Even though he already sets your teeth on edge. What about Matthew? How does he view the late Mr. Pamuk?
He doesn't know.
So that is not what split you apart. I thought it might have been.
Oh, no. There are other reasons for that. To do with Lavinia.
I see. And those reasons are final?
They are final for Matthew. So, yes, they are.
Here's what I think. Break with Carlyle. He may publish, but will be a house of scandal anyway with Bates's story. Go to America. Stay with your grandmother until the fuss dies down. You may find the new world is to your taste.
He'll keep my secret if I marry him.
Once I might have thought that a good thing. But I've been through a war and a murder trial since then, to say nothing of your sister's choice of husband. I don't want my daughter to be married to a man who threatens her with ruin. I want a good man for you. A brave man. Find a cowboy in the Middle West and bring him back to shake us up a bit.
Oh, Papa.
Have you got a minute, Mr. Carson?
Only a minute. I have to go up and attend to his lordship.
Well, that's the point. This news is going to change things, isn't it?
I have every hope that Mr. Bates' sentence will be commuted. His lordship is doing everything.
I know. And I hope he's successful, but even if he is, Mr. Bates won't be coming home this weekend, will he?
I'm afraid not.
So I wondered if you'd given any more thought to my application.
I'm sorry, but I have spoken to his lordship, and he thinks you're more suited to your present position.
He doesn't trust me, does he? Because of the stealing. I knew it.
What is it now?
Nothing.
Well, it's not nothing, is it?
I just feel taken for granted. Sometimes I think you don't notice that I'm human at all.
Oh, so it's my fault?
You talked to me like when I first came, but I know things now.
Things I taught you?
Maybe, but I learned them. And I work well, but you wouldn't know it the way I'm treated. It may be wrong to complain with Mr. Bates like he is, but it reminds me that life's short and I'm wasting mine.
Daisy, you're tired. Why not get away for a day? You told Mr. Mason you'd go to the farm. Go then. Breathe the air. Have a rest.
I couldn't. I don't think William would like it.
Oh.
You got my note? so glad you're here. I feel somehow we were, all of us, part of each other's story for a while.
And now that story is at an end.
In what way?
Well, Matthew doesn't want to live here. And I'm moving away soon.
You mean to Haxby?
Wherever I go, the time we shared is over. And Lavinia was a part of that.
Let's take a moment to remember her.
Our Father, which art in heaven.
Oh, what on earth's the matter?
She's still in love with you, you know.
I don't think so.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's as plain as the nose on your face.
I thought you didn't like her for throwing me over.
That's a different conversation.
Mother, it has to be like this. I'm afraid I can't explain why, at least. I'm not going to.
Something to do with Lavinia?
Maybe.
Well, you see, I think you're wrong. Lavinia wouldn't have wanted this. She was a sweet girl, a kind girl. She wouldn't have wanted you to be unhappy.
You don't understand. I deserve to be unhappy. So does Mary.
Nobody your age deserves that. And if you are, and you can do something about it and don't, well, the war has taught you nothing.
That's your opinion.
Yes, it is.
But you can't have been false to him. You were his wife for only half an hour.
It's difficult to explain, milady.
Well, try.
I led him on. When he was wounded, I let him think that I loved him.
Why?
I thought it'd cheer him up, give him something to live for.
And you did all this when you didn't even like him?
No, I did like him very, very much. Everyone liked our William.
Oh, so you married him to keep his spirits up at the end?
I suppose I did, yes.
Well, forgive me, but that doesn't sound unloving. To me, that sounds as if you loved him a great deal.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Mamma. I've been outside. I was looking for... What was she doing?
Mending the fire and suffering.
No, she shouldn't be here at this hour. Why isn't Thomas on duty?
Yeah, I don't need you to tell me the world is falling about our ears. Is there any news on Bates?
Not yet. Murray has a meeting with the Home Secretary later today. We should know something then.
I'm surprised there isn't more in the papers. You know, Earl's valet to swing and so on. But I've seen hardly anything, and nothing about you.
I quite agree, and I can't enlighten you. Is that why you're here?
Well, not exactly. I wanted to talk about Rosamond and Hepworth.
Careful, she might come in.
Then I shall speak quickly. I only want to know one thing. Is a woman of Rosamond's age entitled to marry a fortune hunter?
Does she know all the facts?
Yes, she does.
Then I would say yes. But for God's sake, let's tie up the money.
My thoughts exactly. What is the matter, Robert?
Isis has gone missing. I can't think where she's gone to.
You go, Isis. You go. Good girl. Good girl.
Will you stay on at Downton?
Who says they'll let me?
They'll let you. And you have some money. Mr. Murray thinks you can keep it, or most of it. I want you to thank his lordship for trying to help me.
Yes, but what he said...
He didn't want to say it. And I won't blame him for not lying. I give him my best wishes for the future. And wish all of them well. I don't want you to hold it against Mrs. Hughes or Miss O'Brien.
If you think I can ever...
Even Miss O'Brien. We've not been friends, but she doesn't want me here. Please forgive them.
I'm not sorry, you know. Not a bit. I would marry you now if I wasn't already your wife. I would.
God knows I'm not sorry either. Maybe I should be, but no man can regret loving as I have loved you.
No touching.
For God's sake, man, you know where I am bound. How dangerous can this be? One kiss to take with me.
Still at it?
The secrets of the universe are boundless.
Are they indeed? All right. Shove over.
You've changed your tune.
Have I? Oh, perhaps I have. Now, let's get going. Who's out there? Here we go. W?
William? Is it really you, William?
Yes?
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my God. William, is it you? What do you want?
Go to farm. Make Dad happy. Go to the farm, make Dad happy. You can't say fairer than that.
Is it usually so specific?
Not usually, no.
Well, that's enough for me. Ooh, this stuff is thirsty work.
They're in the drawing room, sir.
I'm really only here to see Lady Mary, Carson. Is there any chance of hooking her out?
Leave it with me, sir.
Matthew, you should have come earlier. You could have had dinner.
Something the matter?
My dog's gone missing. I was going to go and look for her.
Well, we should organise a search party. Ask the men servants to join us. Then we can apply some real method. Can you agree, Carson?
Isis! Come here, girl! Isis!
Poor Papa. I wonder if she's been stolen.
What a horrid thought.
Thomas? What's the matter with you?
Nothing.
I'm afraid we'll have to call it a night. But remember, there's £10 for anyone who finds her tomorrow. For now, thank you all very much.
Poor Papa. It's terrible for you.
She may turn up. She may be trapped somewhere. We could still find her.
Get back to the house as fast as you can and ask Mrs. Patmore to heat up some soup for the searchers. Thomas?
Yes, Mr. Carson.
Why were you up at the house this evening? Did Papa summon you?
As a matter of fact, I came to see you. I wanted to find out what you meant when you said you had to marry Carlyle, and that I'd despise you if I knew the reason.
Yes, you would.
Whatever it is, it cannot be enough for you to marry him.
That's what Papa said.
So you told him?
Yes.
And does he despise you?
He's very disappointed in me.
Even so. Please tell me.
You'd think the good Lord would have spared him the loss of his dog at a time like this.
Ours not to reason why.
When will we hear about Mr. Bates? I don't know how they've kept it out of the papers. I suppose that'll change if it goes ahead. I can't bear to think of it. How will Anna bear it?
As the widow of a murderer, she'll have to get used to a degree of notoriety, I'm afraid. And so will we, as the house that shelters her.
Then let me put you out of your misery right away, Mr. Carson. By handing in my notice.
You don't mean that?
Yes, I do. If I stay here, I keep the story alive. If I go away to Scotland, say, or London, it'll die soon enough. I'll just be one more housemaid lost in the crowd.
She has a point.
Not one that I accept.
I mean it, Mrs. Hughes. I do.
Say something. If it's only goodbye.
Did you love him?
You mustn't try to...
Because if it was love, then...
How could it be love? I didn't know
Then why
him.
would you?
It was lust, Matthew. Or a need for excitement, or something in him that I... Oh, God, what difference does it make? I'm Tess of the d'Urbervilles to your Angel Clare. I have fallen. I am impure.
Don't joke. Don't make it little, not when I'm trying to understand.
Thank you for that. But the fact remains that I am made different by it. Things have changed between us.
Even so, you must not marry him.
So I must brave the storm.
You're strong. A storm braver if ever I saw one.
I wonder. Sybil's the strong one. She really doesn't care what people think, but I'm afraid I do. Papa suggested I go to New York to stay with Grandmama to ride it out.
You can find some unsuspecting millionaire.
Preferably one who doesn't read English papers.
Go or stay, you must sack Carlisle. It isn't worth buying off a month of scandal with a lifetime of misery. When is he due back?
Tomorrow. He and Aunt Rosamond's beau are returning for the servants' ball.
Will that still go ahead?
Not if Bates is... Well, not if the worst happens. Papa hasn't faith that it probably will.
You were wrong about one thing.
Only one? And what is that, pray?
I never would. I never could despise you.
Why didn't you just go and find the poor thing there and then?
How? His lordship was in the way, and Mr. Carson sent me back with a message for Mrs. Patmore.
So you're going to leave the wretched animal out all night?
What reason could I give if I went back and found her now?
Go first thing once you're free, and just pray nothing's happened, for your own sake.
Do you think that was William?
Who else could it have been? Who else would have known you'd been asked to the farm?
That's true.
So, will you go?
I feel I should, don't you?
Oh, I think so. If only to spare my fingers.
Isis! Good dog! Isis! Good girl! Oh, for God's sake, will you just bloody come, you stupid dog!
You shouldn't have gone to all this trouble. Not for me.
No? Not when you're the nearest thing to a child of mine left on earth.
But I don't deserve it. Not when I were only married to William for a few hours. You were there, you saw it.
You may not know this, Daisy, but William had 3 brothers and a sister.
What?
All dead at birth or not long after. I think that's one reason why William married you, so that I wouldn't be alone with all my bairns gone. Without you, I'd have no one to pray for. I think William knew that.
Oh.
So will you be my daughter? Let me take you into my heart, make you special. You'll have parents of your own, of course.
I haven't got any parents. Not like that. I've never been special to anyone.
Except William.
That's right. I were only ever special to William. I never thought of it like that before.
Well, now you're special to me.
Isis, where have you bloody been, eh?
What in God's name happened to you?
I've been looking for the dog.
A village child found her yesterday. Somehow the silly animal got herself shut into one of the keeper's shelters. They took her back and claimed their reward this morning.
Oh, that's good.
Did you really get yourself into this mess looking for my dog?
I know how fond of her you are.
I'm impressed, Thomas. It's good to know there's some decency in the world at a time like this. Thank you.
That's all right, my lord. The main thing is she's home and healthy.
I could walk to the station. I walked here after all.
I want to talk while we go. If you're my daughter, you must allow me to give you advice.
I suppose.
Well then, if you're not content with the way you're treated, don't sulk and answer back. Tell them.
They wouldn't listen.
Oh, you don't know. You haven't given them the chance. Go to Mrs. Patmore and explain to her why you think you're worth more than you're getting. Make your case and put it to her.
But Miss Shaw said...
Daisy, do me a favour and stop listening to that Miss Shaw.
Are you here? Nobody told me.
Only just. The train was late. I'll have to scramble to get changed.
I'm afraid it may be a rather gloomy visit. No news yet for the poor valet, I'm afraid. So the servants' ball has been cancelled.
Never mind. I'm very flattered to be asked back on any terms. I hope I can read something into it.
Only my desire not to lose my maid. Miss Shaw wouldn't stop nagging me until you were invited. You owe her a tip. But I mustn't delay you.
What will you do in America?
What I do here. Take calls and go to dinners. My grandmother has houses in New York and Newport. It'll be dull, but not uncomfortable.
Lady, I've been thinking, if things go badly for us, I thought I might come with you.
You mean you won't leave after all?
I have to leave Downton, but I don't have to leave you.
Of course you can come with me. You don't need to ask. But let's not give up hope yet.
No, my lady. Let's not do that.
My lord? I was only going to say that if I do need a new valet, I think I'd like to give Thomas a trial.
Really, my lord?
I think I've misjudged him. There's more true kindness in him than I've given credit for.
Is there?
I think so. At any rate, let's give him a chance. Everyone deserves a chance. Even Thomas.
So Sir Richard's back?
I haven't seen him yet. He and Lord Hepworth only just arrived in time to change.
Are you ready?
I think so. I know what I have to say to him. It's time.
I wish you'd take my advice and fight for her. But I know you won't.
I don't expect you to understand.
Oh, that's good, because I can't. And please, don't invoke the name of that sweet dead girl again.
I've always wanted to see America, so at least I've got a plan.
I suppose so. I still can't be glad you'll be leaving here. But it's good news that you won't be casting off entirely.
It's only if...
I know. Just so as you know, you're highly valued by all of us. Both of you. Very highly valued.
My God, Mary, what more could I have done?
Nothing. But you must see we're not well suited. We'd never be happy.
You won't be happy by the time I'm finished, I promise you that.
Of course, I'm grateful.
So you should be. I buy your filthy scandal. I keep it safe from prying eyes. And why did the papers leave you alone over Bates? Why has there been nothing linking him to the great Earl of Grantham?
I suppose you stopped it.
With threats, bribes, calling in favours. Yes, I stopped it.
Papa will be so thankful.
You don't think it holds now, do you? You don't think I'll save you or him for one more day?
And you wonder why we wouldn't make each other happy.
Mary, you quite all right? Oh, here he is. The man who can smile and be a villain. Is she not to be trusted even to get rid of me without your help?
I heard shouting.
Lavinia knew it, you know. She knew you never loved her.
Don't you dare.
Oh, she said it once. It was late and she was tired. You two were locked together in the corner of the room and she said, if he could just admit the truth, then all four of us might have a chance.
Liar.
I'm not a liar. No, I am many things, but not that. She regretted it, of course, but she said it.
You bastard.
Stop this at once!
I presume you will be leaving in the morning, Sir Richard. What time should I order your car?
How smooth you are. What a model of manners and elegance. I wonder if you'll be quite so serene when the papers are full of your eldest daughter's exploits.
I shall do my best.
Oh, what on earth's the matter?
I'm leaving in the morning, Lady Grantham. I doubt we'll meet again.
Do you promise?
Sorry about the vase.
Oh, don't be. It was a wedding present from a frightful aunt. I have hated it for half a century.
Wait.
After last night's exhibition, I rather hoped to escape unobserved.
I didn't want you to go without saying goodbye.
Well then, goodbye.
I suppose you feel I've used you. And I'm sorry if I have. I'm sorry about Haxby, about all of it.
I assume this is a plea to stay my hand from punishment. But I warn you, I'd feel no guilt in exposing you. My job is to sell newspapers.
Papa has suggested I go to New York to wait it out. So I'll be all right. I just didn't want our final words to be angry ones.
I loved you, you know. More than you knew. And much, much more than you loved me.
Then I hope the next woman you love deserves you more than I did.
And don't worry about Haxby. I'll sell it at a profit. I usually do.
He's still on at me to press his case with the mistress.
He's very tenacious, I must say.
You know men.
And I know women, too.
My lord. My lord.
What in heaven's name?
A telegram, my lord.
Open it.
Thank God he's been reprieved. It's life imprisonment, but he's been reprieved.
Go and fetch Anna.
The Home Secretary finds that many details call into question the case for premeditation. The point is he will not hang.
But it's still life imprisonment.
Don't dwell on that. Not now. It's life, not death. That's all we need to think about.
We've a task ahead of us, it's true. Bates will live, and he is innocent. In time, we'll prove it, and he will be free.
I must go and see him. Today, they'll let me, won't they?
I can't believe they won't. I'll get Pratt to run you into York.
So that is the news. It only remains for me to add that we will be holding the servants' ball tonight after all.
Tonight? Are you serious?
Mrs. Hughes thinks we can manage it.
I never thought they'd hang an innocent man.
He wouldn't have been the first. Well, it's a relief. It is. I don't mind saying it.
But he has to stay in prison.
Only until they prove he didn't do it.
If you don't mind, we can worry about that later. Right now, we have a great deal of work to do.
His lordship means to work with Mr. Murray.
Will you stay at Downton now?
Of course. I'm sorry to let Lady Mary down, but I think I should. And there may be some way I can help them to overturn the conviction. I don't know what I can do, but there may be something.
I don't deserve you.
Because we will overturn it. I won't rest until we have you out.
But it may take years. That's if you ever manage it. So there is one thing I must ask. I can't have you grey-faced and in perpetual mourning. Promise me you'll make friends, have fun, live life.
I'll try. I promise.
Can I give you some whiskey to fortify you for the coming ordeal?
That's very kind. Is there anyone I should dance with, particularly?
Well, Cora opens it with Carson.
Not Cousin Violet?
Not since my father died. No, Mamma ought to dance with my valet, but we let it lapse while Bates was here. Perhaps Thomas will revive the privilege.
He certainly got the nerve.
Then I join in with Mrs. Hughes, so perhaps it would be nice if you were to partner O'Brien.
Crikey.
By the way, Mary told me about Mr. Swire.
At least I was with him. And we'd made our peace. I didn't deserve it. I let Lavinia down.
You were ready to marry her, Matthew. You would have kept your word. You can't be blamed for feelings beyond your control. If Swire had any inkling of that, he would have respected you for it.
Glug those drinks down, both of you. We have to go in.
I gather Anna isn't going to America.
No. But of course I'm glad for her. Uh-oh. Here he comes to claim his prize.
Your ladyship, may I have the honor of this dance?
Yes, it is a waltz. I'm far too old for that awful foxtrot.
What about the black bottom, my lady?
Just keep me upright, and we'll try to avoid it.
Daisy, I'm having trouble understanding what you mean. So, are you saying you want to leave?
No, I don't want to leave unless I have to. But I want to move on. I think I'm more than a kitchen maid now. I want to be a proper assistant cook. I know I can be.
Well, I've no objection if the budget stretches to it. I'll have to ask Mrs. Hughes and her ladyship.
I'll work for it, I promise.
Why couldn't you have spoken of this sensibly the other night, instead of going off into a pet?
Because I took the wrong advice.
I hope this isn't a practical joke.
It is a joke, in a way, I'm afraid.
My dear, this isn't what it seems.
Is there room for misinterpretation?
But I can promise.
Clearly, I have been managed and steered by an expert hand, which I now see has not been yours.
But Rosamond...
Let her go. It's over. Don't make yourself ridiculous. Good advice. Why not marry her? She'll more than cover any social flaws with her resourcefulness. Isn't that what I'm always saying? You silly old whatnot.
There are no more trains tonight, so you'll have to leave first thing.
Oh, don't worry, we will. Please forgive me, but...
Why? It's a lucky escape, if you ask me.
Oh, that's true, of course. I just can't stand it when Mama is proved right.
Your Lordship, I have a word.
Of course. How was Bates?
Relieved, shocked, tired, grateful.
I'm sure.
My lord, I wonder if I might withdraw my resignation.
I was hoping you'd say that.
What about it?
Why not?
How are your plans for America going?
I'll book my crossing as soon as I hear back from Grandmama.
You'll be gone long.
I don't know. I'll have to see.
You think we can go to bed?
I expect so. I think we've done our duty. Mamma's gone home, and so has Isabel.
And the girls?
I think Edith's upstairs, and the last time I looked, Mary was dancing with Matthew.
Don't let's interfere with that. I've written to Sybil. Send her your love. I won't be kept away from my first grandchild, Robert.
I don't know what you mean. I didn't quarrel with her. I gave my permission. I didn't fight it.
But you wouldn't go to the wedding.
No.
It isn't what I wanted for her. None of it is. But this is what's happened, and we must accept it. I want to go over there, and I want Sybil to come here.
And the chauffeur?
Him, too. Been a happy day, Robert. Let's end on a happy note.
Tired already?
A bit. I was thinking about William. He always loved the ball.
Miss O'Brien, her ladyship's ready for bed.
I'm ever so glad Mr. Bates is going to be all right.
Well, he's alive. I think we're quite away from all right. Go on.
Are you pushing it? No, are you? That doesn't make sense.
Yes, it does. May they be happy. With my love.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I suppose the spirit wants some couple to be happy.
You were moving it.
No, I wasn't. You were.
That was fun. There'll be a few thick heads in the morning.
No doubt they think it's worth it.
So you're really going to America? Would Carlisle make your life a nightmare if you stayed?
I couldn't tell you. Maybe. Even if he does let me go, my story's still out there. And always will be.
Would you stay? If I asked you to?
Oh, Matthew, you don't mean that. You know yourself we carry more luggage than the porters at King's Cross. And what about the late Mr. Pamuk? Won't he resurrect himself every time we argued?
No.
You mean you've forgiven me?
No, I haven't forgiven you.
Well, then.
I haven't forgiven you because I don't believe you need my forgiveness. You've lived your life and I've lived mine. And now it's time we live them together.
We've been on the edge of this so many times, Matthew. Please don't take me there again unless you're sure.
I am sure.
And your vows to the memory of Lavinia?
I was wrong. I don't think she wants us to be sad. She was someone who never caused a moment's sorrow in her whole life.
I agree.
Then will you?
You must say it properly. I won't answer unless you kneel down and everything.
Lady Mary Crawley, will you do me the honor of becoming my wife?
Yes.